What's up, Paradoxers? Jack here with another recap of Time Paradox Ghostwriter. We are in Chapter 12, Unfinished World. Okay, so last week we left off with Teppei being sucked into the time machine, and here we are now. So, quick note about the chapter release. It was released on a Monday because Japan had a holiday for the mountains, I believe, so I was delayed a couple of days here. I am a working man, so please excuse. I have a quick episode today. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, so getting to the chapter right away, we see that Teppei is in like this time-space construct, and the other person who is talking to him is actually the robot, Mirai. So Mirai is like explaining to him that they're in like a special place. He calls it the blank page of the story. So he immediately asks Mirai, why didn't you just tell me like what was going on so that I could save her? And the robot replies that, even if I told you everything, I didn't want to, interrupt your mojo. It's a lot of pressure for you to do what you had to do to beat her in doing the manga and all that. Plus, he reveals that he tried everything. Like, he's been doing this experiment over and over and over, trying to save her, but he eventually just explains, nothing worked. And even going so far as to tell him, like, his regular timeline was that he would have quit manga, gotten a regular job, but come back and wrote a one-shot that was pretty successful enough that Itsuki read it and was inspired to submit White Knight in the first place, which caused all this mess. So, we are right back in the beginning of this whole mess with no place to go. What happens to Itsuki? They tried to compete with her on White Knight, and it did not work. So the robot is about ready to give up. He's like, if this series is going to kill her, then I would prefer that time-space just stop, and I'm just going to get rid of it. And Teppei is not having it. He's like, I got an idea. And his idea is pitched to the robot, not revealed to us, and Mirai agrees to it, but he says, it's a very harrowing task, may die from it. However, it's a better alternative than just ending time. I guess that's like ending the universe, I suppose. And so it's not that risky if you consider it that way. You better try than not try anything. And that is going to be our story moving forward. The robot starts to cry, puts everything in action, and sends Teppei Sasaki back in time. And then here we go. We have some great art, and we can see that he's in the present, and he wakes up, and he says, okay, time to draw, baby. Doesn't say baby, but we understand that it's on. It's on. This series is racing to its saving of Itsuki Aino. Alright, so that's a good lead up to my notes. I think, wow, what a shocking chapter. We see basically so much exposition explaining like how it works. There's still a lot of stuff that we don't know, but it's just, wow, just a lot of reveals and very exciting to read. So the first thing I want to bring up is like how time travel works on this series. They don't really explain it. It's like a magic world, similar to like the Promised Neverland when they get whisked off into like how the promises are made. It's the same thing here. We are not seeing the nuts and bolts of how time travel works, but we are seeing like a lot of it in terms of examples. So they can pull him into that universe to talk to him. They can also send him back into time. They can send him like back into time in an exact spot. They can do like, there's like a lot of stuff going on, a lot of possibilities. Okay, so that's good. The bad part is if they don't explain it, then they're not really growing the universe. It's just kind of like, I don't want to say cheating, but it's just like the way that the story is. Let's see if they reveal like who the robot is. They did hint it with when the robot was trying to change the subject in one of the panels there, but that's going to be really interesting. Okay, so my second note is, what is the endgame of the series? Is it actually the storyline? So I think that I don't want to talk about it too much, but given how much I've seen of like how all the characters are developed and like what other stuff is going on, like if you look at other series, there's other character developments, there's lots of questions and theories that need to be played out. For this series, the only thing I'm really seeing is the main storyline, and everything is related to that main storyline. They need to save Itsuki, who's pulling the strings, that type of stuff. And so I would say that we are racing towards the finish because there's nothing else. Of course, I could be totally wrong, and they may hit like a checkpoint of like, oh, they did this and it kind of worked, and then they need to do another. That may depend on how successful the series is moving forward in the rankings and stuff. So according to the table of contents that came out, the last 2 weeks, Time Paradox Ghostwriter has been last in the book, unfortunately. So it's like the last thing, but I don't know what has caused it to be that low. Maybe it'll make a huge jump back. The volume sales have been like in the middle, doing better than King. So we will see like if there's any impact on the future of the storyline. But I would say that we are moving fast into the end game of the series, where they really tried to save Itsuki, and especially since the robot said that he's running out of batteries. Alright, so thank you so much for listening. Follow me on Twitter at Paradox Tweeter, like and subscribe, and see you next week for Chapter 13.